I don't know. The way I look at it is this. Sometimes there's a film with one of the most ridiculous premises that you would not consider watching it. But then you do, and you have a complete surprise as to what you get.
Welcome, everybody, to Pop Culture. I am Scott.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Monica.
And this episode, we are talking about the 2002 masterpiece, art house gem, by Don Coscarelli, director of such epics as Phantasm, Bubba Ho-Tep, based on the short story by Joe R. Lansdale, which is a fantastic short story if you want a good read as well. And we get a film that is just, if you pitched it to somebody, they'd be like, can I have some drugs?
Yeah, it was one of the most absurd dust covers I'd ever read, I have to say, in terms of premises. And, saying Elvis in a home with a black JFK and
trying to
fight a mummy.
Yeah.
Like, what on earth are they trying to do here? But I still saw it, and Bruce Campbell was my selling point, to be honest.
When this came out in 2002 in America, I don't know when it came out here. There must have been some sort of delay or something, because I saw it at the cinema.
Yeah, I didn't see it at the cinema.
Yeah, I was a Bruce Campbell nut, and it came out on my, whatever year it was, I don't remember. It came out on my birthday, and I went and saw it at the cinema.
Nice.
Yeah, I friggin' love it. I love this movie.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it prior to when you pitched it. You baited me with the allure of ancient Egypt, Scott, which is the shiny glint of metal to my inner magpie. And I'm kind of glad that I watched it, because I don't know what's going on. Why is the mummy dressed like a cowboy? Oh my God, JFK's a black man, and he's like really paranoid about Lyndon B. Johnson. But okay. Yeah,
they dyed me this color.
It's the most ridiculous premise, but it really works. And yeah, I thought it was great.
It's one of the most heartfelt movies, like in the collection of movies that I really love. It's like, oddly, given the premise of Elvis fighting a mummy, surprisingly sweet. It's look at like the way we treat the elderly, and like missed opportunities and things like that.
Yeah, it's also quite pensive about as you said, the elderly and the value that we place in youth, and also it's a story about dignity. Yeah. And it has
and death, and like what, and you know that the end's coming, but
yeah, absolutely.
At the hands of a mummy.
Yeah, via soul sucking.
Through the anus.
Yes, exactly right. The most sensible of locations.
Where the soul is located.
Obviously.
Yeah, it's that cover of humor and absurdity definitely makes it, I think, actually a little bit more poignant than usual as well, because Bruce Campbell really understates the acting as Elvis, I have to say. He's not hamming it up incredibly in his reactions to things, and he does seem to come across as this genuinely sort of, I guess, slightly saddened and version of Elvis, who is there more reflecting on, as you said, life and death, and then also just that dignified idea of getting old and what it all means for people, as he watches everyone else's reactions around them and takes it upon himself to protect them.
Yeah.
So,
and he's probably the best interpretation of Elvis that I've seen on the screen. It's really good.
The one with Kurt Russell's not bad.
Yeah. Also, Angry Elvis from Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. Amongst a few others.
Have you seen it's a good Elvis movie. Elvis and Nixon? I think it's
Oh
called.
yeah,
No,
yep,
I'm not saying
yep,
that.
Michael Shannon as Elvis.
yeah.
Oh, you sold me.
Yeah, that's quite good, that one as
That's
well.
a good movie.
But now we're talking about Elvis and not
Yeah.
Bubba Ho-Tep.
Bubba
But it shows how well he portrays it, and that really bizarre bit where he's playing both Elvises, like the impersonator of Elvis and Elvis,
Yes.
and that's just like he's really good. He actually
Yeah.
shows enough difference between them to just be convincing, and
Sebastian Haff.
Yeah, that melted my brain. It was so meta. You know, you have Elvis meeting this impersonator to play and portray the real Elvis while he goes along with his life being an Elvis impersonator. So there's still something about the persona, the stage presence that he can't quite let go of.
Or is the only thing he knew how to be?
Yeah,
Or
it's the only
one of
thing he
his,
knew how to
that's
be.
how he says. He goes, I only knew how to be me, you know, and so impersonating me was the perfect job.
Yeah.
And then, of course, has the problem of the other impersonator dying as Elvis.
Yeah.
And then losing the contract in a barbecue accident.
Yeah.
By a propane explosion.
But it's got some really unusual mixes of horror approaches too, you know, and the horror is not about suspense for someone's about to die. I mean, that's in there, of course, but there's those moments where he's just sort of watching the nursing home life go by, and it's done in this weird time lapse, but with cut frames and stuff you expect from horror films more than anything. But it added that weight to, you know, I'm just watching this time go by, and
I guess
getting
the
old.
The horror of a nursing home. And it's not a nice nursing home either. It's not like
no, it's not. And you also, I get, you know, people might also experience those sorts of things in times where, you know, times of duress, you know, nursing homes, hospitals, those sorts of places. It gives you a lot of time for reflection, and everything almost is in this weird, choppy, fast forward kind of pace, and you feel like life is just passing by you. And that's horrifying.
yeah. It's almost the situation. Like, his life is almost more frightening than a mummy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, mummy's nothing compared to that.
Why not go fight it?
Mm.
The humor is great. Like, I really like some of the jokes, like where he's like talking about the size of the bug. It's the size of my fist. A peanut butter banana sandwich. That's his Elvis's unit of measurement.
Yes. Of course it would be.
Yeah, it's like really funny. And then you know, when he goes to fight the mummy and he gets the spell.
Yes.
Shit, doesn't even rhyme good.
Yeah, it doesn't even rhyme good.
And like the sweet sort of friendship between him and Ozzie Davis's JFK.
Yeah.
Is really beautiful as well.
Yeah, oh God, that JFK character, that was just nuts.
But only someone that's like
sad.
to get someone as like amazing as Ozzie Davis.
Completely, and you know, fully committed to portraying the JFK that we get.
Like, this is the guy who read like Malcolm X's eulogy. Like, this is an amazing actor.
Yeah.
And like commits to it 100%, like the absurdity of it, like my brain's in a jar.
Yeah. Ask not what you can do for your nursing home.
And then the mummy itself is kind of this fun, quirky, weird thing in its cowboy outfit that it stole from somebody.
I kind of feel the mummy's a little bit sort of tacked on at the end as a bit of an afterthought. Like, I think maybe even without the mummy with the horror element, you could have maybe done something else with the movie.
Yeah, I think the showing of the actual monster showed its budget.
Yeah,
which was sort of a shame because so much of it's done so well.
Because I know they only had one hallway.
Look, you can tell.
It's really like they've done a pretty good job to try and make it look more than it is.
Oh yeah.
But it's also the location and concept allows you to be just in this one spot. But yeah, I think that's the only bit that sort of grated for me was the mummy itself as a monster, and when you're actually seeing it. And I think the budget was what was it? I think the director said they didn't use any Elvis music on purpose because if they just
Couldn't
even
afford
used
it.
one,
Yeah.
they couldn't afford it. They wouldn't have been able to do the movie.
Yeah, it's
So-
like the Brian Tyler guitar riffs that are kind of Elvis-y, but not Elvis.
Not really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Elvis adjacent.
Yeah. And I mean, I really appreciate Don Coscarelli's. Like, I like Phantasm, and he did another adaptation of a Joe R. Lansdale short story, which was Incident on and Off a Mountain Road. If you want a really good short horror story, wow, he did an amazing job doing it. So there's something to be said of, I think, Lansdale's really weird stories, and then you get someone as kind of crazy as Coscarelli to make it.
Yeah, for sure.
That works. There's something about it that works. And I'm disappointed that the sequel never got put together. Whoa, what?
Sorry,
Your ringtone?
that's my ringtone.
That's
Yes,
fantastic. And I would
I'll
expect
just have
nothing
to
less.
mute it.
What was this? Yeah, so this the prequel was meant to be Elvis Fights Dracula.
Of course it was.
Oh,
And
okay.
Paul Giamatti was cast as Colonel Parker. And it was all going well, and they just Campbell and Coscarelli just kept fighting over the script. Campbell said it wasn't good enough to live up to the first film, and they just kept changing it, and eventually they all gave up.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah,
Oh, missed opportunities.
would have been fantastic. A different movie, Elvis fights a different monster.
We have a television series where he fights the monster of the week. I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Could you imagine that Elvis is the chosen one?
Yeah, Elvis fights a werewolf. That'd be sick.
Yeah, exactly. Someone call Seth Green.
It's Kung Fu Man. Only two kinds of people know it: Chinaman and the King.
Oh.
Elvis, what a character!
Mm.
And maybe that's the strength of the myth as well, is like the sort of reverence placed on Elvis as a musician and as sort of a pop culture icon of his own standing.
Yeah, absolutely. And not to mention as well the inclusion of JFK and the own mythos around his life and also his death. Both of these people have conspiracy theories that, they did not actually die when, it was reported that they had. So
Yeah.
Well, essentially, they're both almost mythological characters in themselves now, because when you look at everything surrounding their lives or their deaths, it takes on a lot more than your normal person, that's for sure, and even normal celebrities. I mean, Elvis,
larger than life, yeah.
Yeah, he takes it way beyond just the music. It's a character in himself and a life that was led to excess, obviously.
Yes.
And then JFK, all the conspiracy stuff. So it's mythological in itself.
Yeah, and just blends them together in this strange story that, as a pitch is absurd, but when you watch it, it's a very good film.
Yeah. What a hidden gem.
Yeah. I thoroughly recommend The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then Bigfoot, also as one of those movies that might surprise you.
That's your next pick, isn't it?
It might be. No, sincerely, it's like the sillier the premise, the better the film. The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then Bigfoot with Sam Elliott. Magic.
Oh, okay. Sam Elliott's involved. Okay, now I'm interested.
Sam Elliott killed Hitler and then Bigfoot.
First you had my interest, now you have my attention.
Oh, what a great segue into what our next episode is about.
Mm.
Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of Pop Culture. I've been Scott.
I've been Jason.
And I'm still Monica.